This is a general staff thing, but audio engineers, I hope most of them know, but this is the lock the doors in case of emergency button.
Okay.
It will, if there's a situation that arises in the lobby and we're told lock down, pushing these two buttons at the same time will magnetically lock the doors from the outside. If people walk to the door and the little sensor picks motion up, it will unlock. So we're supposed to tell people stay seated, don't go near the
Oh,
doors.
so you can still get out.
So yeah, you can get out for a fire, but if someone's like, oh, what's going on, and they walk and there was an intruder or something happening, the doors would unlock if they get close. So
Okay.
but this is supposed to be a lockdown button. It magnetically locks, and you can pull hard enough to open them. It's just a deterrent if there's a situation.
Okay.
So
What's the red button?
the red button is not a button, it's actually a light.
Oh.
This is part of a comm system that was installed here. This is a future upgrade for the next production manager. The next step, and Time of Grace is redoing all of their equipment, and I was a part of that conversation to say, what does 922 need? The biggest thing I think we need is a comm system for all of our volunteers to be able to talk with headsets.
Yep.
And that also patches into the production room. This was the basic one that was installed here when Craig and I designed the building. There on the back shelf, there is a ClearComm unit, a rack mountable unit with a headset and a little station. They use that for the musical so that the lighting person and our director can talk to each other. That can plug in, and there's a little wall plate in the green room that is a ClearComm unit speaker and a button. So we put this there so that in theory, during a service, someone back here could buzz back to the green room. All right, we're ready for you to come out, and they could press a button back there to talk. The only problem is when they press the button back there, the person back here might not have a headset on. So there's a call button back there, which would flash this light red. So then the person here knows to put on a headset and talk to whoever's in the green room. We have not had to use the comm system with the green room. I think we thought about it, and that would be something be nice to have. Now we're seeing what's going to be more important is for all these volunteers to be able to talk down to each other, and for Nia or Billy in the room over there to be able to call out to here to talk to our volunteers, or for our volunteers to say, we're ready with the hosts. Can we get camera 3 or camera 2 on them? Yep, we'll get that. Yeah, thank you. So instead of running to the door, knock, 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 hey, can you get camera 2? And then running back across. So this is just the start of a comm unit. And now that's just a call light for back here.
Okay.
That could be used still, but we have not had to use it.
Yeah. All right, we're underneath.
Yes, so this is underneath the audio console at the core. These boxes were designed by Craig Bastian and part of the AV installation. Kind of designed with intentionality when we designed the building. So most of this stuff is self-explanatory, but just to point out everything, I guess. So we have some Dante inputs here: Dante primary, Dante secondary. The audio console is the only thing that's really using a Dante secondary connection, and that's like a fail-safe connection. Dante secondary, if there was a glitch or something went out on the primary connection, it can immediately switch to a secondary connection. So that's what those are for. Analog system inputs, I think that I think that's where the main console mix, I believe, is coming right off the board and into that, which goes to the speakers. I think that's how it's wired. So those are just analog straight into the. So like if we had another touring band coming and using the facility, they could take our mixer out and plug their stuff, like their main outputs, into here, and it would go straight into our speakers and just bypass our mixer completely. So we have those connections there. Audio tie units. I showed this in the back closet where there's ways you can tie audio from one place to another, microphones. You can see that we're using one of them, and this was used so that I could send Pastor Michael's microphone to Nia. We used that for a Q&A Sunday. When I hosted with Pastor Mike, I had Pastor Michael's headset on. But by default, when we program the system, we only sent Pastor Mike's stuff directly to Time of Grace, clean signal, before it comes to us, like a separate connection. So we never sent Pastor Michael's stuff directly to Time of Grace. So she's like, can we get Pastor Michael's microphone so I can bring that in and record that for Time of Grace? So I said, yes, I could. I'll go off of the mixer on an output, Pastor Michael's microphone. I'll go to the audio tie line in here. It comes out of the audio tie line in her room into her unit. And that's how she's recording Pastor Michael's microphone directly. So that's an example of what the audio tie lines can be used for. It's a regular microphone connection. So you can send a microphone from one room to the other, a feed of something if you need to. So we put a few of those in there for exact uses like getting Pastor Michael's microphone over to Nia. So would she want the guitar? Maybe she wants to do a little, guitar. I could take the acoustic guitar and patch that, and she could get a line and record that into her system directly. Things like that. That's what that's for. Right down here is the intercom system. Again, we don't use that really much because it only can talk to the green room, and we have not had a use case for talking to the green room. If we do, usually people just text each other. So that's kind of not really being used. But it is there, and for future comm connections, that could come back in useful if we want to plug that back into that unit back there. We put in a couple AV control network slots. So if we have a device that we need to talk to the other devices on our AV network, this is the one that's isolated and not on the internet. We have a connection right here in the booth that we can plug that into. We have the stage box connection, which is the snake to the console. So that is in the back closet. We had all of our microphones plugged into our digital snake.
Yep.
That is the line that comes from that snake up to here, and our console is connected into that. Again, you could plug in someone else's snake. They could bring their own mixer, their own snake. You could just use that line and swap it out. So rack tie lines, similarly, we had those in the boxes in the stage where we could plug in cat lines. If you look at the numbering system in the back room, there's still 28 and 29. There are a couple connection points back in this booth here too. So we are running something to the back right here. I don't even remember what it was. See, I have to go through and find out. Something's going back there. That actually, I know what that is. That is when we want to have a computer plugged in for projecting from the stage, and we had that Crestron box that's plugged into a tie line, and it's patched over to number 29, which goes up to our computer here so that we can do all of that stuff. That's what that is. I remember now. In my previous video, I talked about the MADI tie lines. That's if we wanted another console, another Digico console in the Time of Grace room to mix the live stream audio. We went away from that. We found that that's probably not the best solution for us. So that's what I was talking about before. That could be utilized probably for an SDI tie line. So an example would be, say you want that slider cam that Time of Grace uses. What if you wanted to patch that to Nia so that she could use that and cut to it as part of the live stream? We could get the SDI cable, plug it in, and we could probably use one of these MADI tie lines because I think it's the same cable. And then in the back room, patch that to the production room, and then go to the production room and tie that into our system. So we should be able to send a signal from back here using those lines. That's kind of what they're there for. There are things that you can figure out if you want to send something. There's a few lines you can use there.
Okay.
So that is box number 1. I'm going to slide down to box number 2. And down here, you're going to find the projector feeds. These are the 3 projectors on cat lines that we're sending the signal up to the projectors. And you see down here, house left and house right. Those were those connections that we used to have there for those two projectors on the sides that we never did.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
So I commandeered, I think, the house right line for that Dante device.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is where you could plug things in that would go up there. I think the house right one I unplugged back in the rack so that I could plug that line into it. So that's what those are for. You have more control network things, so we can plug devices in to talk to each other. We have those SDI tie lines. We have, that's probably where you would put like a slider cam and send that to Time of Grace, would be an SDI tie lines. So we have more of those if you want to plug in more cameras back here and get them somewhere.
Okay.
There's ways to plug that and then patch it in the back room. More comm lines here for a comm station. The touch panel that communicates with the QSC. It just plugs in here. It has its own dedicated place to plug in. The rear PTZ camera is going over there, and I think it goes into the wall and goes under the stage and goes up to there. I think that's how they just got that thing plugged into the system, is they had it here and they ran a line under the stage or under this floor. This is stuff for the switchers, how they communicate to the back closet. A confidence monitor. That I think, we have another confidence. We have a blank slot. Maybe we could put something in. This is the feed from ProPresenter, which produces the confidence monitor to send it into the system. So that then in the switcher in the back, remember we could put confidence monitor on any TV. Mm-hmm. This is how we get it there, is through that one.
Okay.
And then more SDI tie lines and network tie lines there. Like one of those I think is Dante, so that we can plug our live stream audio into Dante. So I think we tied it into Dante through one of these tie lines. And then in the back we did a patch. Bring Cat tie 30 into Dante primary and just do one of those short little patch cables.
Okay.
So everything is tying it into the back closet and then patching it into what you want. So we designed it that way so we had maximum flexibility.